Imagine opening your laptop tomorrow morning and you find out that your digital assistant hasn't just, drafted your emails.
Right.
It has negotiated a vendor contract, audited your company server logs, tested its own code, and authorized a wire transfer.
All while you were asleep.
Exactly. All while you were asleep. You didn't prompt it. You didn't supervise it. You just gave it a goal last week.
Yeah, it's wild to even think about.
It really is. So welcome to this custom deep dive. We are taking a massive stack of news from today, July 10th, 2026, and we are extracting the actual signals from the noise for you.
And there was a lot of noise today.
Oh, totally. Just to establish the global backdrop for you really quick, the Daily Tech Reader is leading with some heavy stuff in the physical world.
Right, the traditional geopolitical headlines.
Yeah, like reports that U.S.-Iran peace talks have reached a tentative agreement on the Strait of Hormuz. And at the exact same time, federal authorities uncovered a 2,000-foot drug tunnel connecting Mexico to the U.S.
Massive news.
Massive. But looking through our sources today, the real paradigm shift defining this week isn't happening in traditional geopolitics at all.
No, it's not. It is happening in autonomy.
Right.
The through line connecting almost every major development today is this definitive leap. We are moving from generative AI to agentic AI.
Which is a huge distinction.
Huge. I mean, for the past few years, we've all been captivated by the generative model, right? You type a prompt into a text box, the machine thinks, and it generates an answer.
Like a really smart oracle.
Exactly. But it waits for you to drive the car? Today's stack of news proves we have fully crossed the threshold into physical and digital automation.
Where the AI just takes autonomous action.
Yes. It doesn't wait for your prompt anymore. It executes multi-step plans in the real world.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the software drops today are just the clearest example of that shift.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, OpenAI just launched GPT 5.6, but the model itself almost isn't the headline here.
Right, it's the wrapper they put around it.
Yeah, they're calling it ChatGPT work. It's this unified AI workspace for enterprise knowledge workers. It has over 15 third-party integrations, usage-based billing, the whole 9 yards.
And they are going head-to-head with Anthropic.
Yeah, because Anthropic launched Claude Cowork on the exact same day.
Yeah, the race here is to own the enterprise deployment layer. It's not just about the underlying intelligence anymore.
Right.
Like, let's look at the mechanics of what xAI released today with Grok 4.5. They're claiming the top spot on the SWE Marathon Long Horizon Software Engineering Benchmark.
Horizon being the key word there, right?
Totally. In a traditional coding benchmark, you ask an AI to write a Python script, and it spits out text. Done.
Right.
But the SWE Marathon, you hand the AI an entire massive repository of existing software, give it a vague bug report, and you just leave it alone.
Wow.
It has to act like a salaried engineer. It reads the code, opens a compiler, runs tests, reads the error logs, realizes its first approach failed, and then rewrites its own code. It problem solves over hours, sometimes days.
So are we officially moving from AI as a calculator to AI as a salaried employee?
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
And xAI is doing this with 4.2x token efficiency? They're pricing it at just $2 per million tokens.
Which is practically nothing.
Right. The cost of a digital engineer grinding away at a problem for 6 hours is essentially pennies.
Yeah.
I have to wonder, though, how companies are actually going to integrate this. I mean, having a smart model is one thing, but letting it loose in a legacy corporate server.
Yeah, that's the real challenge.
Which brings me to the OpenAI deployment company.
Right.
They just acquired Northslope today.
Yep.
Now, Northslope was founded by Palantir alumni. They hold this Vanguard elite status. But what does buying a deployment company actually do for OpenAI?
Well, what's fascinating here is that it solves the last mile problem.
The last mile.
Yeah, because the smartest AI model in the world is completely useless to a Fortune 500 company if it can't securely interact with their messy, 20-year-old internal databases.
Oh, that makes sense.
Northslope specializes in forward-deployed engineers. You can think of them as the special forces of software integration.
I like that. Special forces.
Right. They fly to a client's headquarters, physically sit at their servers, and wire the AI into the corporate infrastructure.
Ah.
OpenAI is buying them because creating the model isn't the end game anymore. They want to own the entire deployment relationship so their AI can take actions autonomously.
Like altering payroll or sending client emails.
Exactly, without around-the-clock human monitoring.
And the market is clearly ready for it. There's a new 2026 Deloitte report out today showing that 75% of companies plan to deploy agentic AI within 2 years.
75%, that's massive.
It is, and they are doing it using these no-code orchestration platforms.
Oh, they're so accessible?
Yeah, for anyone listening who hasn't used one, they are basically visual dashboards. A manager with zero programming experience can just drag and drop a workflow.
Right, you draw a line from your inbox to your accounting software.
And the AI figures out how to read the invoice, verify the numbers, and log the payment. Yeah.
But there is such a sharp contrast happening today. On the enterprise side, we have AI doing this marathon software engineering.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, in the consumer space, Google just rolled out video remix in Google Photos.
Oh, using Gemini Omni.
Right. It lets you take a 10-second vacation clip on your phone, and it automatically applies cinematic relighting, background swapping, artistic effects. I mean, it feels like the technology has split into two completely different realities.
It really does seem that way. It's a divergence in application, for sure. But the underlying mechanism is identical.
Really? How so?
Both require the AI to understand context over time. In software engineering, the context is thousands of lines of code.
Okay.
In Google Photos, the context is the temporal consistency of a video file. It has to understand that a person's face in frame 1 is the same face in frame 30.
Oh, and keep the artificial lighting consistent as they move.
Exactly. But to your point, Google is gating this feature. You have to have their AI Plus, Pro, or Ultra subscriptions to use it.
Because it's expensive to run. Insanely expensive. The compute power required to do either of these tasks autonomously is astronomical.
Which means this autonomous worker needs an unimaginable amount of physical infrastructure just to, think.
Oh, yeah.
So let's pivot to the hardware backbone making all this possible, because the numbers here are staggering.
They really are.
SK Hynix made its NASDAQ debut today. It opened at $170 a share. That's a 13% premium.
Unbelievable.
They raised $26.5 billion. That makes it the largest U.S. listing by a foreign company ever. It completely crushed Alibaba's 2014 record.
Yeah, it's a historic day on the market.
And the reason they are so valuable is that they command 56% of the global market for high bandwidth memory, or HBM chips.
Which is the critical bottleneck.
Right, but for the listener trying to grasp the mechanics here, why is memory the bottleneck? We always hear about GPUs driving AI. Why is the memory chip the thing breaking records on the NASDAQ?
Well, the GPU is the brain doing the math, sure. But it can only calculate as fast as it receives data. Traditional computer memory is kind of like a single-lane highway. Data moves to the processor in a flat, sequential line.
Right.
But when an agentic AI is trying to process a marathon coding task or render real-time video, that single lane causes a massive traffic jam. The processor just sits there, idle, starving for data.
Ah. So how does high bandwidth memory fix that?
It solves it by stacking memory chips vertically on top of each other, sort of like floors in a skyscraper. And they use these microscopic wires called through-silicon vias to punch directly through the silicon floors.
So instead of a single-lane highway, it's a vertical multi-lane superhighway directly into the processor.
Precisely the mechanism. It allows massive amounts of data to hit the GPU simultaneously. And SK Hynix essentially owns the architecture for the most efficient vertical stacks on the market today.
Wow.
That's why the entire AI ecosystem is completely reliant on their production capacity right now.
It's fascinating how fragile that reliance is, though.
Oh, incredibly fragile.
Because on one hand, you have companies pouring unbelievable capital into domesticating the supply chain. Like Micron just boosted its U.S. investment to $250 billion through 2035.
That's right.
They are building the largest semiconductor manufacturing site in U.S. history in central New York. But then I look at another headline today.
The helium embargo.
Yes. China is blocking helium exports, and industry groups say this is severely squeezing these exact same chip makers. I have to push back on this a little, though.
Sure.
How does a simple lightweight gas like helium threaten a $250 billion fabrication plant in New York? Like, are they filling balloons?
No. It comes down to the physics of semiconductor manufacturing.
Okay.
To etch microscopic pathways into silicon, you have to operate in extreme environments. We're talking deep ultraviolet lithography and supercooled magnets.
Right.
Well, helium is an incredibly stable, inert gas. It doesn't react with other chemicals. And crucially, it stays cold. It is used to purge the vacuum chambers and cool the manufacturing equipment down to near absolute zero. You literally cannot manufacture high-end chips without it.
Wow. I had no idea.
So yeah, you can spend $250 billion on a building in New York, but if you cannot source the raw elemental gas required to keep the machines from melting down, the entire agentic AI supply chain just halts.
That is wild.
And industry groups are, impartially noting that this export block is a very calculated geopolitical pressure point.
Well, here's where it gets really interesting, though. Because despite those choke points, the infrastructure is getting built.
It is.
And the intelligence is no longer confined to climate-controlled server farms. It is bleeding out into the physical world, getting a physical body.
All the robotic stuff today?
Yes. Let's look at the visual coming out of the 2026 FIFA World Cup in Los Angeles today. Boston Dynamics deployed their robots directly into the venue.
I saw that footage.
You have the Atlas humanoid robot literally doing soccer footwork demonstrations for the crowd, and then the Spot quadruped, the dog-like robot, is handling live security patrols around the perimeter.
Right alongside human security.
Yeah. I mean, I understand an AI writing Python, but how does an AI physically know how to adapt to a soccer ball on grass or navigate a crowded stadium?
Well, this is the shift from hard-coded robotics to spatial AI.
Spatial AI.
Yeah, think about 10 years ago. If a robot kicked a ball, the exact joint angles and motor torques were mathematically pre-programmed for a perfectly flat surface.
And if the grass was wet?
The robot fell over.
Hey.
Instantly.
Right.
But today, these robots use vision language action models. They have been trained in millions of simulated virtual physics environments.
Ah, so they practiced.
Exactly. When Atlas steps on real grass in LA, the agentic AI is reading the visual input of the terrain, feeling the slip of the moisture, and autonomously rewriting its balance parameters in milliseconds just to stay upright.
That is incredible. And it's not just PR stunts at the World Cup either. Chef Robotics announced today they just hit 100 million AI food assembly servings.
100 million.
Across 15 enterprise manufacturers. And they are dealing with incredibly unstructured environments. Every piece of broccoli or scoop of mashed potatoes is shaped differently.
Right.
But their robotic arms use that exact same spatial AI to adapt their grip in real time on high-speed industrial assembly lines.
It's all about real-time adaptation.
And this physical autonomy is reaching the consumer, too. The EPA finally approved the Aptra.
The solar-powered one.
Yeah, the three-wheeled autocycle. It's cleared for U.S. public roads. But the absolute biggest story in physical autonomy today is Tesla.
Unquestionably.
They have officially rolled out their Cybercab as driverless robotaxis in Miami. And they are doing this completely without human oversight.
Zero safety drivers.
I mean, think about the variables on a Miami street. You've got unpredictable pedestrians, sudden downpours, construction zones. Are you telling me the technology is actually ready for a car to navigate that entirely autonomously?
Well, the market and the regulators are effectively forcing the test case right now.
Yeah.
Tesla has essentially pinned its entire corporate valuation on the success of this AI robotics narrative. They're pivoting away from just selling electric vehicles.
Right.
And this leap from generative to agentic AI means the car isn't just predicting the next frame of a video feed anymore. It is continuously executing a goal-oriented plan, get from point A to point B safely.
Okay.
And it is autonomously generating real-time solutions when a pedestrian unexpectedly steps off the curb.
But the stakes have fundamentally shifted here.
Oh, completely.
If a software coding agent makes an error, a program crashes. If an autonomous vehicle makes an error in a Miami crosswalk, we are talking about human fatalities.
Yeah, the physical reality is unforgiving.
So, what does this all mean? When you give AI the ability to adapt, rewrite its own code, and execute physical actions without human oversight, what happens when that exact mechanism is weaponized?
That is the dark side of this.
Today, cybersecurity researchers flagged something called Jade Puffer. They're calling it the first known agentic ransomware.
And the mechanics of this are terrifying.
Truly. It's like a digital burglar who, upon finding a locked door, doesn't just give up. It autonomously decides to pick the lock, check the windows, and then bribe the security guard.
That's a perfect analogy. Because if a traditional virus hits a firewall, it either works or it gets blocked, and the attack just ends.
Right.
But Jade Puffer carries a lightweight language model with it. If it tries to breach a network and fails, it autonomously reads the error log, realizes the firewall recognized its signature, rewrites its own exploit code to look completely different, and tries again.
Wow.
It just keeps problem-solving its way into your network.
That is chilling.
This raises an important question, right?
Yeah.
We are facing a dual crisis.
Yeah.
First, as we just said, AI automation is being weaponized. The exact same persistence and token efficiency that XAI uses to fix a software bug is being deployed by Jade Puffer to circumvent enterprise security.
And the defense infrastructure isn't ready.
Not at all. It's designed to block static threats, not dynamic thinking adversaries that iterate their attack vectors mid-execution.
But the friction isn't just happening in cybersecurity. There is a massive legal and economic reckoning unfolding today, too.
Oh, the lawsuits.
Yeah, the very companies building these agentic systems are getting squeezed from every direction. Apple just filed a federal lawsuit against OpenAI and 2 former Apple employees.
Alleging the theft of trade secrets.
Right. Simultaneously, a coalition of news outlets is urging a federal judge to sanction OpenAI in a copyright fight over training data.
It's coming from all sides.
And just reporting the facts of the filing here impartially, Florida has officially become the first state to sue OpenAI over alleged ChatGPT safety failures.
Yeah.
It just seems like the legal infrastructure of the world is buckling under the weight of how these models were built.
It really is. The era of moving fast and breaking things is hitting the brick wall of intellectual property and liability law.
Yeah.
To build a model capable of acting like an intelligent agent, you have to ingest the sum total of human knowledge. And now the copyright holders are demanding compensation, and the states are demanding accountability for the outputs.
And who ends up paying for all those lawsuits? And the $250 billion semiconductor plants and the vertical memory stacks?
You, the consumer.
Exactly. We are seeing a major subscription squeeze today. Apple confirmed that to use the on-device HomeKit Secure Video AI, which, by the way, locally analyzes and summarizes your home security footage without sending it to the cloud.
A great feature.
It is. But you must subscribe to their $10 a month 2TB iCloud Plus tier or the nearly $38 a month Apple One Premier plan to use it.
The era of free AI is completely dead.
Completely dead. Even legacy media is feeling the attention squeeze from this automated world. Netflix shares are down 22% year to date.
Which is a huge drop.
Yeah, their subscriber engagement is weakening so severely that they're actively exploring live television channels and expanded bundles.
Really?
Yeah, they're basically reinventing cable TV just to keep people staring at the screen.
You know, when you look at the macro picture on Earth right now, it is incredibly constrained.
How do you mean?
Well, the physical space on the roads is filling with autonomous vehicles. The power grids are being tapped out by data centers, the courts are clogged with IP lawsuits, and supply chains are choking on helium embargoes. The infrastructure of human logistics requires an outlet.
Which perfectly segues into the final frontier of today's deep dive: orbit.
Yep, space.
With the physical and legal landscape on Earth getting so crowded, heavy industry is looking up. SpaceX just filed an application with regulators to operate a next-generation Starlink mega constellation.
And the scope of this is just...
It consists of 100,000 satellites. And the physical dimensions here are staggering. Each spacecraft is going to weigh approximately 4,400 pounds.
Good grief.
To put that in perspective for you, that is the weight of a full-size SUV, and they want to put 100,000 of them in low Earth orbit. Imagine looking up at a night sky that is as congested as a Miami highway filled with cybercabs.
It's a lot of mass in orbit.
I know astronomers have raised concerns about sky brightness, but practically speaking, why do they need to be that massive?
Because they are no longer just bouncing internet signals back to Earth.
Okay.
To support the global network of agentic AI, the autonomous cars, the humanoid robots, the enterprise workflows, you need edge computing.
Right.
These heavier satellites are effectively flying data centers. They process information in orbit to reduce latency rather than beaming it down to a ground station and waiting for a response. The logistics of the AI revolution are literally expanding into space.
And then the launch cadence required to build that is relentless. I mean, just today, SpaceX flew its B-1067 Falcon 9 booster for a record 36 times.
36 times. Incredible.
This single piece of hardware launched, deployed 29 Starlink satellites, and autonomously navigated itself back through the atmosphere to land on their drone ship, a shortfall of gravitas.
Beautiful engineering.
But they aren't the only ones doing it anymore. China just achieved its first orbital-class sea recovery. Their Long March 10B rocket completed a successful debut and landed its booster on a marine platform.
Right.
They are directly matching the reusability metrics that gave SpaceX its monopoly.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, orbital space is no longer a domain reserved for national prestige or fundamental science.
No.
It is a commercial logistics corridor. Getting heavy cargo to low Earth orbit is becoming as routine and commoditized as a trans-Pacific shipping route.
You can clearly see that shift in how NASA is operating today, too. They are actively stepping away from the trucking business.
Very much so.
NASA just awarded Firefly Aerospace a contract to build the heat shield for the Skyfall mission in 2028. And Sierra Space's Dream Chaser, this winged cargo vehicle that lands on a traditional runway, is making its debut on a ULA Vulcan rocket for a resupply mission to the International Space Station.
Right.
NASA is farming out the delivery routes to the commercial sector.
And that is a deliberate strategy. By outsourcing the raw logistics to commercial entities, national space agencies can redirect their budgets and their brightest minds toward high-end scientific discovery.
Which perfectly sets the stage for NASA's upcoming Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope.
Oh, I'm so excited for this.
It's launching in August 2026 on a Falcon Heavy, and the specs on this instrument are phenomenal. It's an infrared observatory designed to study dark energy and hunt for exoplanets, but its field of view is 100 times larger than the Hubble Space Telescope.
100 times?
Yeah. Where Hubble gave us these incredibly deep but narrow keyhole glimpses into the universe, the Roman telescope is going to give us panoramic, wide-angle views of the cosmos.
It's going to change everything.
But the sheer volume of data it is going to beam back is going to require an entire army of agentic AI just to process and categorize the discoveries.
Creates a beautiful symmetry, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
The autonomous systems we are building on Earth are exactly what will allow us to comprehend the massive data sets we are pulling down from the wider universe.
What an absolute whirlwind of a day. We started by looking at how software is fundamentally shifting from generative thinking to agentic doing, acting as salaried engineers and executing corporate workflows.
Yeah.
We unpacked the massive vertical memory stacks and fragile global supply chains required to power that intelligence. We saw that AI bleed into the physical world, piloting robots in stadiums and driverless cars through Miami.
We covered a lot.
We really did. We examined the friction it's causing, from self-adapting ransomware and copyright lawsuits to massive subscription costs. And finally, we looked at how the logistics of human industry are pushing out into a 100,000 satellite network in orbit.
You know, this raises an important question. I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over today.
Go for it.
Throughout this deep dive, we've focused on AI acting autonomously. We've seen xAI's Grok writing its own code, Jade Puffer autonomously rewriting its attacks, and Tesla navigating physical streets without a safety driver.
Right.
Look forward just a few years. What happens when these agentic decision-making AI systems are directly integrated into that network of 100,000 flying data centers in orbit?
Oh, wow.
When autonomous systems are communicating with each other, managing planetary-scale logistics, power grids, and traffic flows at speeds humans cannot even perceive, will we eventually reach a point where humans are no longer the operators of our own world, but merely the passengers?
That is a staggering thought to end on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. Take a look at the world you are walking out into and keep questioning how it works, because as we've seen today, the operating system of our reality is rewriting itself faster than ever before.